put it. I'm just.
All right, we're all back. I see Brian online. And so the Human Resources Committee has reconvened in public session in order to take any action on items discussed in closed session. First, are there any items for discussion for public discussion before we go on A and B?
I have a few questions. For Exhibit A, thanks for sending the email about the edit, because I wouldn't have looked at it again. But one, if someone could remind us of LTC, and then with that edit in the note for the status, what's the difference between 1 year due to license status, LTC, and 1 year LTC?
I'll start the conversation. LTC stands for Limited Term Contracted Teacher, and I'll then turn it back over to Mrs. Almendares.
Good evening. Yes, that is correct. So those are limited term contracts. The only difference between the 1 year for license status and the one that does not have license status included is that this individual is a transfer in, and we wanted to retain the ability to provisionally have them on board for a year before committing to a regular contract.
But the person that you're referencing already has the license?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
And then I don't have any other questions for A, but I do have questions for B, so I'll yield the floor if anyone has questions for A.
Any other questions for A? Okay, Exhibit B.
Okay. Quick question. There are several instances on B where the positions are split. So the SEB coach, the Just Say No, the Link crew, and then also the SEB coach at Todd. If all of the people who are involved in the split are not listed, should we assume that they are already, it's a continuing addendum for them?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that. And then can you just confirm, because some of the addendums we don't see because they're continuing, we only see the new ones, that we're not over our number of capped positions per the addendum for each building?
So we do keep track of that internally to ensure that we only have the allotted number for each one per school, or as they are broken down.
Perfect. And then just two other things. One, just because I'm not familiar, what is the first ladies at Todd? Does anyone know? If not, someone can email me later. If
I can email you that. Thank you for sharing. I can email that.
Okay. And then the last question is, one of the leadership team positions at Gaston is listed as principal choice for $500, but then directly under it, there's a second leadership team for Gaston, which is correctly listed at $1,200 per our new addendum. So I'm just wondering why that first one is $700 less.
So the principal's choice are a fixed amount. And so if they want to add a third leadership position to their building, then it would come out of the principal's choice budget, which is the $500.
So the leadership team has a cap number of positions that you can have. Let me just pull that up to make sure I'm looking at the right one. So you're saying that if they exceed those $1,200 allotments, then they'll put someone else on the team and only pay them $500?
So the principals, just as with first, the principal's choice for first ladies, the principals have a choice as to what they want to spend those fixed amounts of principal choice positions. And if that is what they feel the need is, it is based on that because there isn't another 1,200 allotment for their building.
So we have already, just to confirm, reached that 5 per site cap for leadership team at that building. And you're saying they want a 6th person, and that 6th person is okay with doing the same work but receiving $500 instead of $1,200?
Correct, because there isn't another position for leadership team member.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
Close the wrong agenda. Give me a minute to get back. Any other questions for Exhibit A or Exhibit B? All right, is there a motion for Exhibit A and Exhibit B?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Board Member Amy Levy, seconded by Board Member Greg Schneider. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. We're on to 3A, next meeting. The next meeting of the Human Resources Committee will be Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Amy Levy, seconded by Brian Nichols to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned. We'll start our business meeting at 7:05. You got 1 minute. Okay. All right. I'm going to call to order the October 3rd, 2023 regular board meeting at 7:05 p.m. Mrs. Shope, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Tia Johnson's unable to be here this evening. Brian Nichols.
Here.
Brian Anderson.
Here.
Megan Miller. Present. Amy Levy.
Here.
Greg Schneider.
Present.
And Sean Levy.
Present.
All members are present except Tia Johnson.
Okay. I need to read our public announcement. The Board of Education would like to let our families and viewers know that our regular board meetings are being simultaneously interpreted. You can watch the Spanish interpreted meeting through the link found at the board website under the Watch Meetings tab with tonight's date. In order to accommodate this interpretation, we will be monitoring the pace of our meeting to allow time for the interpretation. And I would like to remind our board members and others speaking to please speak one at a time. Thank you so much for your consideration and understanding. All right. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Moved by Board Member Greg Schneider and second by Megan Miller. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. We're now on to D, our Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mrs. Shope, do we have public comment?
I do not have any emails, and nobody filled out a card.
Okay. So we're now on to item 3A, Superintendent Board Report.
So first, I would like to say thank you to everyone that's here today, and I would like to first start off with a special thank you to our school board. This is our school board appreciation week, as you can tell by the banner here. When you walked into the boardroom, a lot of times we forget to say thank you to the ones who serve in public service as our officials. And from a district perspective, and definitely from a district administrative perspective, I would just like to say thank you for your service, for your leadership in the school district of Beloit, serving on the board, of course, and your leadership in the community. And also just being people, just thank you for coming to this conversation. A lot of times it's easy for people from the outside to say what we should be doing and what we haven't done right. But until you sit in these seats, it's always a different conversation. And so on behalf of the school district of Beloit, administration, teachers included, I would like to say, a big heartfelt thank you. Thank you to all of my board members. Not saying my board members because, the board members of the school district of Beloit. You all mean a lot to me. And again, not just because I sit in this seat as a superintendent and you appointed me, but I think this work is hard. And again, sometimes a simple thank you can go a long way. And so hopefully you all feel that appreciation, not just from the school district, but also in the public throughout this week. And this is just a token of our appreciation. And hopefully, again, this is something that you will take with you. I would ask the crowd, if you wouldn't mind, and applauding our school board for the work that they do. Again, it's hard work, and again, any public official that understands it's not easy. So again, thank you for your service to the district. Now I would like to move into my next thank you, which is actually real special to me. We celebrated this week our homecoming, and our homecoming gave us an opportunity to celebrate our students and alumni. And sometimes the best PR and positive news is least expected. And in this case, over the week, we had a video that went viral, had over 250,000 vote clicks. Almost 1 million people clicked on us about as it pertains to some of the things that we did for homecoming week. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, and again, most of you may have seen it. Again, it did go viral. We did share this with CBS News, and we really want them to, because they do fun stuff like this as well. So homecoming week was a real big success for us. We had over 1,800 plus fans come out to our football game over this past week, which it was packed left to right. I did a panorama, and you should have saw it. It was just beautiful. A panorama was like a big picture. It was just exciting to see the Purple Knights come out in support of our school district and our students throughout this week. Alumni also mean a lot to me. There's work that we need to do with our alumni to make sure that they feel connected to our school district as well. Alumni relations is also very important. And I was surprised to hear so many people say, I'm the class of blank, and I'm the class of blank. I'm the class of blank. And one guy pulled me over. One guy pulled me to the side and was like, I'm the class of, I forget the year, but he wanted to actually be on the field at the time. And I was like, well, listen, the night is about our kids, and I appreciate you, all the work that you did for our school district. But he was so proud to be about the class of blank. And I don't know, to me, it was real special. And these moments are real for me because I haven't experienced a homecoming week in the school district of Beloit. And so this excitement that I'm showing you right now is real. And so we're going to show the video real quick here of what the video that did go viral. And again, it had over 283,000 views, over 150,000 video shares, and over 17,000 people engaged with love, hearts, tags, comments. And I'll just show you all the video. Thank you. So again, homecoming week was a huge success. I mean, naturally, there's some things we want to get better at and be better at, and I just think that these opportunities for a school district is important to note. Also, just want to bring it to the conversation real quick before I go to the members here in the crowd. I do have a exciting event this Thursday with coffee in connection with the superintendent. As you know, I came in last year in November, and naturally, everyone knows we hit the ground running. And I didn't do a lot of things that I would normally do that I think a superintendent should do, is just try to make additional connections with the community. And although I was doing it, in my office or going and meeting people, that type of thing, but from a connection with the community as a whole, those are some of the things that I wasn't able to do. But I will have a coffee and connecting opportunity with the superintendent this Thursday, October the 5th, I believe, from 5:30 to 7:30, right over here at the Beloit Public Library. If you want to come out, I have a few things I want to share with you just in return to who I am. I think sometimes people see me and oftentimes I operate very systematically, and I'm a real person, and so getting to see me in a different light, hopefully people will be appreciative to that opportunity. So that's the coffee in connection with the superintendent. Additionally, over this past month and a half now, I've been inviting a lot of different people to the conversation to just show my appreciation and thanks to our reconfiguration efforts. Our reconfiguration efforts was all hands on deck, and it took a lot of people pulling in the same direction in order for us to get the ship into the water to get going to a different destination. With that being said, tonight I would like to thank our transportation department first. Naturally, we wanted to add this conversation to without our transportation people really working really closely with us, we added some new routes, we added some new conversations. Of course, we know with the east side and the west side conversations that had to happen and transporting our students. Those conversations happened, and again, I want to say thank you to the Durham School Bus Service for providing this level of appreciation from the bottom of my heart. I know it was not easy trying to find extra bus drivers. It was not easy asking people to take on extra shifts, but the Durham Bus Services did step up and show out in a way in which I believe it does garner recognition. And so without some of you all providing this service to our school district, a lot of our kids wouldn't be able to get to school. And so I want to say thank you. So I do have one additional gift. Mrs. McCoy, please come up. Jessica is our, I like to call it all things transportation in the school district. And I do have a certificate here that you can share with your team in appreciation and dedication to your services. A nice certificate for you. Thank you so much. Jessica works behind the scenes, and she was like, I'm not going to have to say anything, am I? But again, thank you so much. Next next opportunity that I want to take here is to share some appreciation for our our bilingual family liaisons in the school district. And one of the things that people don't understand is when we were doing all of the registration, we had to have people help translate for us. We have a large population of students, Hispanic students in our school district, or Latinx conversation, and we can't do all that by ourselves. And we lean on our professionals, our bilingual family liaisons, to help us with that. And this was a way for us to say thank you. But additionally to that conversation, I'd also like to thank Mr. Basso for his leadership over the many years as well. Mr. Basso has led this Bosco. Sorry, I say Basso. He knows. I'm sorry, Bosco. He knows. It's Bosco. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. Mr. Bosco knows that I appreciate his work and that he's done for our school district in this conversation. It's oftentimes it goes unnoticed, but if we didn't do some of the things in this conversation, I don't think we would be prepared to service all of our students. And if everyone has heard me say this, service at the highest level is my expectation, period, at the very highest level. And if we ever miss that, I feel like that's on me. And this conversation, this happened before me, and it was led by, Mr. Tony here, Bosco. And I want to say thank you for your service and your leadership in this bilingual family liaison. I get kind of choked up because, again, sometimes people just don't say thank you enough to the people who work behind the scenes to get this work done. And so I turn over to Mr. Bosco, Bosco, to share any sentiments from the bilingual family liaisons.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Garrison, and the Board of Education.
Turn the mic on.
Sorry about that.
There you go. Thank you, Dr. Garrison, and the Board of Education for recognizing the bilingual homeschool liaisons this evening. I'd like to name them by name. Ariana Bruno, Mercedes Viramontes, Jennifer Silva, Crystal Silva, Michelle Loyo are the bilingual homeschool liaisons across our 10 buildings. Then we also have Dorella Cedarberg and Tulio Duran, who are integral in all things interpreting and translating in the school district. It's such a dynamic, committed, dedicated team in service to what Dr. Garrison was talking about, serving our Spanish-speaking families, but even wider than that, really serving all families in the school district. And they just are outstanding at their work and outstanding human beings. I'm proud to be connected with them. So thank you again for that recognition. I'm super grateful to be working with these people. They're outstanding.
I listed all those names. We'll share with the board as well. You can see them, but again, I knew I was going to bring up Mr. Bosco to have this conversation. I also have a token of my appreciation to share with you, Mr. Bosco. Again, the work that happens behind the scenes oftentimes need to come to the forefront. And in this case, I wanted to make sure that happened under my leadership. And so that is my update for today. I would like to now turn it to the board for any questions.
I'm going to open that up to board members. Any questions for the superintendent report?
Thank you so much for taking the time to offer these appreciations, and just so important. And I think it's important to highlight nothing happens in our school district without all of these people and all these, and again, it's a whole community thing, right? We all have to come together. And honestly, in the last 3 weeks, I haven't gotten a ton of phone calls. The phone calls that I've gotten, because apparently things are going really well, have been about how transportation has been working, and certainly ways that we can work with it, and just it's just so integrally important. And actually also the other phone call I had was about Ms. Loyo and how amazing she is, and just how integral all of these pieces are to serving all of our families and our kids. So just really thank you, Dr. Garrison, for creating this space, and thank you for all of you for being a part of our community and working for our babies.
Anybody else? Okay. Just again, to say thank you to Dr. Garrison. Thank you to all that were recognized this evening. So I grew up on the east side, on the west side and the east side. And I ended up living down the street from McGlenigan, but riding the bus 4th through 6th grade to Cunningham, because I was doing so well at Cunningham. That's what my parents chose. School district had the option. And so one of the things that just saying is in this decision that we had to make, for me, riding that bus for 3 years, it's not ideal. It's not what we wanted to have kids to do, but to thank the bus drivers that are transporting our kids. But in those 3 years when I was actually riding the bus and looking out the window and seeing all of Beloit as I traveled from the east to the west side, being a regular ed student, but seeing students with special needs that got on and off the bus, there are still a lot of lessons that can be learned by our young people about compassion and service as they're sitting on the bus. Like I said, it's not an ideal situation, but we are making those corrections. But altogether, to our bilingual staff, as it came to preparing students and families for this year, and our drivers, it really comes down to the people that we have. And when you do the part that you have in the whole, it makes differences in ways that, you really don't understand sometimes. And just want you all to know how important you are in that work that happens, so kids can read, write, find out if they're at, above, or below where they're at. Their parents continue to work with them and then go on to become adults that have choices. That's really what we're working for in the district, and you are a big part of that. So we want to say thank you.
And one additional note to my report, I know that there was communication that was sent out to the broader community as it pertains to an event, a situation that happened on the football field. Just, from a privacy perspective, I would like to everyone to know that student is on the mend. And it is our hopes that he'll be joining us back to school here very shortly. But I just also want to bring note to that as well.
So in addition, I'll add that I was at the football game, and one of the things that we talk about as being Beloiters is that, like, we all know each other's cousins and children and brothers and sisters. And there's moments in time when we're all in a place, or a lot of us are in a place. A lot of us were in the place on Friday night when that happened. And sometimes, like I said, as a game happens and, it could be an injury to any kid. And sometimes, for families, they might feel that they're alone, but we're all in Beloit and we were all there. We saw what happened. And, as long as we are all living in this community, one of the things I like to think about is that we are all walking together in life and we're working together in life. Even like to see Tony Bosco here get recognized. I've worked with Tony in a different capacity, but we are all walking and working together in life. And so to that young man and his family, because of the nature of our community, like, people are there with you. We're not in the exact space that you're at as you're dealing with the immediate concern, but to know that your community loves you and will support you and will be with you in that way. So thank you, Dr. Garrison.
That concludes my report.
All right, we are now on to, this is also the time that if our guests would like to leave, you can get up and leave too.
You're welcome.
All right. And again, thank you for your service. Right.
Thank you all so much.
Don't want you to get stuck here if you want to be somewhere else. All right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right, we got some O2 graduates out there. I know there's a 93 and a 96 on this board too. And then there's 95, so keep that in mind.
You see Brad?
Oh, I'm back there. 95, there it is. Man, I tell you, I'm getting older. We get the right agenda here. So we're now at committee and other board reports. Let's start with Business Operations and Finance Committee, Teaching, Learning, Equity, and Pupil Service, Governance Committee, Legislative Update, and Policy Committee.
I'll jump in with the Business Committee meeting. We met earlier today. Typical monthly financial review. A couple items you'll see on the consent agenda tonight regarding some technology use. And key thing, kind of going over some key dates that we're going to run into as we continue to work through the budget process. So a lot of focus on timing and making sure we have time to address any questions that we have as a board. So hopefully we're going to work real hard to make sure everybody has the information they need to make the decisions that they feel right about. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Teaching, Learning, Equity, and Pupil Services.
Hi. So we didn't meet, but I'm going to take a liberty here to just recognize the best part, I'm going to say, of the meeting, which is about our kids. So we all just a moment ago recognized people in our community who are using their time, talents, and energies to support our kids, and how meaningful that is. And so I just want to take a moment, and if board members will join me. First of all, I'm super embarrassed by attention and thanks. So I want to turn the attention to our kids who made these beautiful cards. And this is amazingness. Hang on a second. Let me just show you. Our kids are so talented, and I love that they got to so they're participating in this greater community, and what a great way to civically engage. And dude, this one, hold up. This one's got a pop-up. Look at that. innovation. I love this. So just coming down and sitting down to being recognized was really kind, and it was, all the feelings, right? But I just want to highlight our kids and how cool they are. And I'm going to just digress at that point. But I just wanted to take a moment to turn the attention to our kids, without whom we would not be meeting here today, right? So, but I'll look forward to giving, let's keep showing the cards because they're so cool. But we'll have a real report about the committee next week, not next week, but the next week that we meet. And thank you so much to our teachers and our paras and staff who gave the kids the opportunity to show off their beautiful handwriting and their creativity and to civically engage.
Thank you so much.
And I'll do a legislative update next time as well. Thanks.
The governance committee did not meet in September. In lieu of that meeting, we did have a special board meeting where we began to exchange our proposals with the BEA, which also covers some of those items in the governance committee, but we will be meeting in October. And that is the report. Legislative update, which you mentioned, and then policy committee.
Policy committee will meet tomorrow, October 4th at 5:30. So please plan to join us.
Okay, we're now on to the consent agenda. There is no separate discussion of items unless a board member so requests, in which event the items will be removed from the general order of business and considered in their normal sequence on the agenda. Is there anyone who desires to remove anything from the consent agenda?
Item B, please.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other items? Okay. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda minus item B?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Amy Levy, seconded by Megan Miller to approve the consent agenda minus item B. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item B, Board Member Levy.
Thank you. So just a few quick questions that are interconnected. The first is, thank you for providing the information. It listed the gross award is $31,910, but that's the gross award. Do we have any estimates on the net amount minus attorney fees and costs?
I can answer that question. At the current time, we do not have the net amount as it pertains to attorney fees and other fees that may come. So right now, this is the number that was shared with us. And then again, a couple other questions that kind of overlap is one, who is paying the attorney fees? Is that every district that's involved has a portion? Is that all? I think it's all. Altria. And the reason I asked that question is that under the right of termination of the agreement, Altria could terminate the settlement agreement, and there's a few different scenarios for which that could happen. One of them is if not enough plaintiffs agree to the settlement and do the paperwork in a timely manner. So that leads me to the question, are lawyers still involved, and is that tab still running? Because I don't want us to get to a place where we have more in lawyers' fees than the $31,910 gross that we're supposed to get from the settlement. It's a good question. I don't know how many people have turned in this legislation yet. But typically what they would do, and I can't speak for all situations and all law firms, but they'll let us know if we're getting to that point as well. Some type of notification will come from them saying that not enough people signed on, or it's getting to that point where it's not beneficial for them to continue with the settlement. And so, Ms. Chady, is there anything I'm missing in that thought?
No, I don't think so. I mean, this is a national kind of a class action type suit. So the school district of Beloit is just one party to the suit. There's literally probably
hundreds,
thousands in all likelihood. So as it stands currently, the school district of Beloit's due to receive $31,910 gross awards. You're right. There's both national council and local Wisconsin council costs that'll come out of that. I'm not sure what those expenses will be. I don't even know if there's really a good way to estimate it. I mean, I think during the finance committee, my anticipation is that we'll see kind of a high teens to low 20,000 that'll actually flow to our coffers. But what that number is precisely, I'm not sure that there's a way to figure out. If I recall correctly, I think National Council is looking for responses from parties to this action to respond back to them sometime in November. So we're a little bit ahead of the game, but there certainly may be other districts that perhaps would not choose to participate and retain their own ability to seek legal recourse against Altria.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion for item B?
I move to approve item B, the vaping lawsuit settlement proposal with Altria.
Second.
All right. Motion by Amy Levy, seconded by Brian Nichols. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes. I guess there was no discussion. All right. So we are now done with our consent agenda. We're on to item 6A, Blackhawk Bank Corporate Authorization Resolution.
And so I'll kick us off with this one as well. This is a resolution that has to be, again, brought to the board and voted on as it pertains to who's going to be on our bank account or who can administer, I hate to say administer funds, but who can have access to the funds to be administered for our school district. This did change when we brought on Mr. Shady to the conversation. It was brought to us a little earlier, and maybe in April or in May, to get this resolution approved. But we was also in the same time in the process of bringing on a finance director as well. And so that now that Ms. Elwood is on board, we believe we have everybody that needs to be on the resolution for possible signatures. Any questions from the board?
Okay. No questions. All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved by Board Member Greg Schneider, seconded by Board Member Megan Miller for the Blackhawk Bank Corporate Authorization Resolution. All those in favor, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. So there's required signatures. We'll make sure we sign those this evening, those of us that are here. We're on to item 7A, future board meeting dates. Teaching, Learning, Equity, and Pupil Service Committee, Tuesday, October 17th at 5:30 p.m. Human Resources Committee, Tuesday, October 17th at 6:30 p.m. And our regular board meeting, Tuesday, October 17th at 7 p.m. We're now at item 8, executive session. A motion may be made and a vote taken to convene the Board of Education into closed session pursuant to section 19.85, parentheses 1, parentheses C, of the Wisconsin State Statutes relative to considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Megan Miller and seconded by Amy Levy. Mrs. Shope, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Brian Anderson,
Aye.
Brian Nichols,
Aye.
Sean Levy,
Aye.
Megan Miller,
Aye.
Amy Levy,
Aye.
Greg Schneider.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously.
Okay. The Board of Education will be convening in closed session and will also adjourn from closed session this evening. So we are done with our public portion tonight. Thank you.